Hi everyone, yasas, que kalos tirtate to another episode of Dimitra's Dishes. Today we're going to be making a baklava crinkle cake. Last week I posted my lemon blueberry crinkle cake and I gave you guys some options of different versions that I can teach you how to make. And everybody wanted to see the baklava version. Baklava can be a little bit tedious to make unless you followed my recipe, which is super simple to make. But this is an even easier way to do it. I mean, you don't have to cut anything. You just wrap everything up in phyllo and it's just beautiful once it's done and you get all that delicious flavor that you would get from the traditional baklava. Let's get started. So as with any Greek syrupy desserts, we begin by making the syrup in a small saucepan. Go ahead and add 1.5 cups of granulated sugar, 1.5 cups of water, a cinnamon stick, and go ahead and give that a mix and bring it to a boil. Once it comes to a boil, turn the heat off and add a teaspoon of pure vanilla extract. If you want to get a little bit of a floral taste to this, instead of the vanilla, you can add a tablespoon of rose water or a tablespoon of orange blossom water. That's really nice too. Then go ahead and take the syrup off of the heat and set it aside so it can cool completely. Now we're going to make the nut mixture. The baklava filling is so simple to make. I have some ground almonds and ground walnuts that I just popped in the food processor and I ground them until they were a very fine consistency. I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of the ground walnuts and a 1/2 cup of the ground almonds to a bowl with a heaping teaspoon of ground cinnamon and 1/4 teaspoon of ground cloves. Give that a nice toss. If you want to, you can add some orange zest to this just to give it a nice flavor. Mix that all up until everything is incorporated and tossed together and then set it aside. Now we're going to assemble the whole thing. So I'm using a pound of number 4 phyllo pastry. If it doesn't say number 4 on your pastry, it most likely is. It's the phyllo pastry that's used to make desserts like baklava and stuff like that. The only way you know that it's not is if it says the number on there or if it says country phyllo. Country phyllo is thicker and it's not going to work for this recipe. So you're going to take 2 sheets of phyllo at a time and you're going to layer one at a time, drizzle some melted butter. I melted 1 stick or 4 ounces, which is about 115 grams of unsalted butter. I went ahead and I melted that and I'm going to drizzle some butter between the sheets and on top. Then I'm going to take a tablespoon of the baklava mixture and just sprinkle it on the bottom. Then I'm going to roll the phyllo over the pastry a few times just so that way it seals it and holds it in place. Then I'm going to gather it all together like we did for the lemon blueberry crinkle cake and we're going to make it look like an accordion. And we're going to keep doing that. Now, if you come across phyllo like mine that's really torn and messed up, you can still use it. If some of the sheets are stuck together, do not try to separate them. It's okay. You can put 3 sheets together. That's fine. Go ahead and continue doing this until you run out of the phyllo and the filling. It's just the right amount of filling, so don't worry about it. Go ahead and transfer the little phyllo accordions to a 9 by 13 inch baking pan and then brush the top liberally with the remaining butter and pour any that's left over on top. You want to make sure that your oven is preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. This is going to bake on the center rack for about 45 minutes. It can go up into an hour or until it's nice and golden. Take it out and pour that cool syrup all over the baklava and let it sit until that syrup is absorbed. It's going to take about an hour for that to happen. So all you need is a little bit of patience. Then it's ready to serve. You can cut it into serving sizes, however big or small you want. Call some friends over, make some Greek coffee, and enjoy this. So the baklava crinkle cake is ready. If you want a little bit of a crispier phyllo, then you're going to want to lower the oven's temperature to 325 degrees Fahrenheit and let it bake low and slow a little bit longer. So let it bake up until an hour. It took 45 minutes at 350 for me. The bottom is not going to be as crispy as the top, but the top layer is still super crispy. Like I said, you have to let it sit and let it come to room temperature so that way all of that syrup gets absorbed properly. You can serve this slightly warm with a scoop of ice cream on top. I would say butter pecan would be really nice with this, or vanilla ice cream. Whatever your favorite is, you could do that. As far as the nuts go, I used walnuts and almonds because that's a traditional Greek baklava, but pistachio would be nice in this, or whatever combination nuts that you like. You can just use that inside. Smells so good. Time for the taste test. So comforting. Reminds me of my childhood. Every Sunday, my parents would take us to a dessert shop. They would get coffee and desserts, and I would get either a baklava or a chocolatina, which I've already done a recipe for chocolatina if you want to learn how to make that chocolate that creamy chocolate cake. I'll put the link down below. If you want to get the exact measurements for this recipe, it's on the website, dimitrasdishes.com. Such a simple way to get baklava with all the delicious texture and flavor and none of the fuss. I hope you guys give this recipe a try. If you want to learn how to make more crinkle cakes, post down below and I'll bring them to you as soon as I can. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I'll see you all next time. Yes, sis.